No. We're not doing that, okay? We're not gonna be celebrating this movie, okay? What's up, guys? Welcome to my Superman 4: The Quest for Peace review. So this is a review that I was not really looking forward to. I do not like Superman 4. I hate Superman 4, as a matter of fact. I think it is the worst movie, one of the worst Superman movies ever made, and why does it exist type of thing. So let's get into this by talking about, first of all, the director. This is, again, same thing with the third movie, a different director. So, again, a completely different director. Again, has, like, nothing to do, like, I mean, maybe he's seen the first two movies, maybe, but I can't say for sure. But the point is that, again, it's a completely new director. So there's that. And I did some research. First of all, it's a Canadian director. I have no problems with Canadian directors. What I do have a problem with is that this movie is very political. This movie goes into a very political spectrum, a very old school political spectrum, and revolving around the nuclear crisis and the nuclear wars and stuff like that. And it's like, really? This guy wants to, talk about it, and it's like, and you got a movie out of it, apparently. So, and I'm not gonna, I mean, I don't even care about the whole nuclear drama bullshit. Like, that's not, who cares? But let's go ahead and get into the cast, because I want to specifically point out some people in this movie before I get to the plot and everything. So, of course, you got Superman, aka Christopher Reeve, Clark Kent in here again. Again, he does a great job. I mean, even in this movie, like there's nothing he can do to really... It's not his fault. Again, he does the best of what he has. And, of course, he gives his best in this movie. Of course, like he did in the last 4 movies. So, Christopher Reeve always does a good job. And pretty much majority of the whole cast does a good job in, recapturing their shine from the older movies. Like Lex Luthor, for example. He has a lot of great moments in here, but again, there are points in this movie where it's very stupid. Like, for example, there's this scene where he's getting this little strand of hair of Superman's. No kryptonite, no nothing. He just clips it. And it's like, what? So completely, throwing away the idea that, his hair is invulnerable to being cut. Like I don't know. It's like one of those things you kind of look at and you think to yourself, like, what? It doesn't make any sense. Another thing is, you have Perry White. I want to specifically point Perry White out in this movie, because he had this little side plot. He had this little side plot with this David Warfield guy about taking over the Daily Planet. And it was okay, but it wasn't like, again, it was just this little side plot that eventually leads into this romantic relationship with Lacey Warfield and Clark Kent. Am I the only one who sits here and thinks, wow, Clark Kent gets with a lot of women in these movies? Is that weird? I mean, I'm just saying, he's playing this nerd character. He's playing this, like, this very, like, how do I describe Clark Kent? This great reporter guy. Like, nothing too interesting about him. He's just a good reporter. He's just a great reporter. Like, nothing too interesting about him. But when he's Superman, of course, then he shines like a star, right? But again, it's like, how does this even really happen? Like, and then it's like, okay, what about Lois Lane then? Why is Lois Lane here? And they do this interesting scene, which is probably the only scene that was actually really good in this entire movie, is where Superman and Clark Kent have to be at this date with Lacey and Lois, right? So he has to be two people at the same time, and there's these funny gags where he's like switching back and forth between Clark Kent and Superman to try to figure out some way to make this work, even though he knows he can't be in two places at once. So, or two places at the same place. Like, you can't be two people in the same spot type of thing. So, that was probably the one scene that I was like, yeah, that's good. It was a good scene. But other than that, the rest of this movie really just, it starts to really... I would say this movie is okay, and then it starts to slowly dip down into this bad category, like very, very bad, like ugly bad. Because then the editing gets really bad. The Superman's powers become whack. Like all of a sudden he can just like use his finger to like rebuild the Great Wall of China. That makes no sense. That he can't do that. Like I don't know what this person was thinking, because Superman cannot do that. I don't care if you don't have time to direct the film. The film is an hour and 30 minutes long. It is an hour and 30 minutes long. This is the shortest Superman movie ever. It's the shortest movie ever. Yet for some reason they were like, no, we need more. We need to make time. We need to condense time, so we have Superman use his finger to rebuild the Great Wall of China, which makes no sense because he can't do that. So, again, something where it's one of those things where it's like, a power that he shouldn't have type of thing. Like, it's so dumb. And I saved the best for last. Nuclear Man. Nuclear Man. Okay, so this guy, okay, so here's the thing. I don't know who to blame. I don't know if I should blame the writer. I don't know if I should blame the director. I don't know if I should blame the actor. Because all three of those are a problem here. Okay? Like, literally. The things that comes out of his mouth is dumb. Like, when he talks, it's really bad. He might as well have been the strong silent type when he just doesn't talk, period. Because that would have been better. Number 2. It's like, what were you going for with this character? Okay, so you want a character that can basically rival Superman, right? Why didn't you just do Bizarro? Why did you do this thing where you had to make this completely new character that no one even gives a shit about, that no one knows who this is, and and you waste everybody's time because you wanted to politically drive this idea of nuclear weapons and, Nuclear Man and all this other bullshit that nobody cares about, when you should have just focused on the Superman stories like the last 2 to 3 movies did-ish, and instead you completely just took a nosedive right into the damn lake. So, another person I want to talk about, Lenny. So Lex Luthor has this nephew. So Lex Luthor has a nephew. Okay, he has a nephew. Does Lex Luthor have a brother? Does Lex Luthor have a sister that we, the audience, don't know about? If that's true, then I don't know. I mean, I don't believe Lex Luthor has any siblings. I really don't think... The only time he had siblings, I think, was in Smallville. That is, like, the only recollection I can have of Lex Luthor having any siblings, right? So I'm sitting here, I'm thinking to myself, like, Lenny, he's just there for comedy relief, too. But he's so bad at it. He's so bad at it. He's basically trying to be that guy from the first 2 Superman movies that was Lex's like little I guess his goofball or his little henchman, and it's like Lenny is just so dumb and so stupid and not funny. He's so dumb to the point where you could have named him anything. Who I am convinced his name should just be Chuck, because he's such a knucklehead. Okay, that's how ridiculous he is. It's bad. It's just bad. I don't know what they were thinking with this. I don't know why they did this. They didn't need to do this, but whatever. Sure, Lenny, who I am convinced should just be named Chuck, because I don't even know who this guy is, type of thing. It's so stupid. All right, so the plot of the movie. Okay, so basically this whole movie is about Superman destroying all the nuclear weapons, essentially. So basically, the whole plot of the movie is Superman choosing whether or not to interfere with the human race and all that other bullshit. Which is dumb because he does all the fucking time. He reversed time by turning the planet around and somehow reversing time twice, might I add. So it's like, you know, at this point, it's like you might as well just mess with everything at this point because you live here now. So it's like, whatever, right? So he takes all the nuclear weapons. He destroys all the nuclear weapons. But Lex Luthor, as the genius he is, decides to somehow take a strand of Superman's hair that was like hanging this 1,000-pound weight perfectly still. Doesn't use kryptonite, doesn't use anything. He just snips it. He just breaks the glass and snips it. Right? So that's problem number one. The comic book inaccuracy about how that doesn't make sense and that does not work, right? So then he takes that little sliver of hair, he puts it on a nuclear missile, he somehow infiltrates a military base, and he is like a commander, so he launches the missile, it goes up, it goes into the sun, and it births Nuclear Man into a full-grown adult in less than, like, 10 seconds. So, and get this. His weakness, you want to know what Nuclear Man's weakness is? This is the stupidest weakness ever, by the way. His weakness is that all you have to do is get him in the shade. You know, put a little umbrella over his head. And he powers down like a battery. Right? That's it. That's all you gotta do. You just turn the lights off on his golden hair ass. And then, dope, I'm done. I'm dead. So, sitting here, I'm thinking to myself, like, all I have to do is put a damn umbrella over your head, or put you in a fucking box, which we will get to, and just put you somewhere where no one opens the lids ever. And then you are just forever doomed to stay in that box forever. Because you can't do anything. Right? So, yeah. That's what we're working with here as a villain. That's great. That's real great. So, another stupid thing. During Superman and Nuclear Man actually fighting, right? So when they actually do fight, Nuclear Man throws the Statue of Liberty, right? Superman catches it. He's gonna go put it back. Nuclear Man comes up behind him, slashes his neck. How does he slash his neck? That doesn't make sense. He can't cut through his skin. There's no kryptonite. He's not made out of magic. He doesn't have magic powers. That's Superman's two big weaknesses. Or the Red Sun. 3. You can't cut him. That little knife, his finger, he's got like these long grandma baggy fingernails. He scratches Superman on the neck. And then Superman catches like a little cold or something, right? So then Superman's just like done for a while. And then like he's like, for some reason, he's like progressively turning old for some reason. I don't know why. I don't understand where the metaphor for that even comes from. So I'm sitting here thinking to myself like, okay, that's cool. That's happening. So another thing I want to point out is, you know how like in the last like the last two Superman movies, we're talking about, you know, he's got his dad. He's like teaching him how to use his powers and about planet Earth and Krypton and all that other bullshit. So in this movie, they don't have him in here. Instead, they have Superman's mother. So yeah, instead we have that. So I don't know why they decided to switch it up, but my perspective is Superman always, you know, is just has his dad usually to just tell him what, you know, what's up. Instead, in this movie we get his mother, and then we get this little stupid thing where he has this like this big old spaceship, and he's like, and he finds this little crystal, which I thought that what? So he has this crystal. And somehow it magically fixes his sickness problem. And then all of a sudden he's back, and he, puts him in a box, in an elevator box, and he flies him off into space, and then they have this stupid space battle that doesn't make any goddamn sense. It's just the worst fighting scenes you have ever seen in any movie, period. It's not even like good wrestling, it's just like bad wrestling. It's like, what is that? And then I guess there's a cool shot of Superman with the American flag. I always like Superman, or Spider-Man, Superman, whatever, with the American flag, Captain America, whatever. I like that kind of stuff. So that was a cool little scene. But other than that, and then you have this, and then the stupidest fucking scene ever. So apparently, before all that even happens, so Nuclear Man is eyeing up this Lacey chick, right? So he's eyeing her up, right? For some reason, after he beats Superman, he goes to the Daily Planet, and he's looking for her, and when he finally finds her, he flies up into space holding her. She's not dead, okay? She should be dead. Like, as soon as she left orbit, her head should have exploded. Like that's how dumb the logic of this movie is. Okay, that's how bad it is. I'm sorry that I went off on that little tangent and how I was kind of all over the place in this review, but the point I'm trying to drive home with this is that this is the worst Superman movie ever. Don't watch this movie. Don't watch this movie. Okay, because then you're going to end up like me, where you sit here, you try to forget about it. Instead, you just end up taking 20 minutes to smash your head against the wall for 20 minutes. Like, that's how bad this movie is, okay? With that being said, let's get to the rating, shall we? So, this movie, like I said, the only good things about this movie were the scene where Superman is doing this dual identity thing, trying to, have a date with Lois and Lacey at the same time, in the same place, which I thought was really creative and really cool. I thought that was cool. And then the scene where he has he's holding up the American flag and the moon. That's it. That's literally all I'm giving it points for. With that being said, I'm giving this a 3 out of 10. I know that might be a little high for some people, but there are some things that I was like, okay, sure, whatever. I've seen worse movies, but as far as like a Superman movie, this is the worst Superman movie ever. So, with that being said, guys, thank you for watching. I know this one was a little bit of a long-winded video, and I'm out of here. Up, and away. See you guys.